Welcome back to the second edition of Fakemon Battle, my own twist on the usual fictional characters as Pokemon. The name's Lizartino, and it's been since more than a year since the first episode came out. One with an equally mind-boggling matchup unless you knew me over time. But fear not! I'm gonna give you a quick recap of what it's all about. Fakemon Battle is a Deathbattle-esque Fakemon creation process where I take two characters from any fiction and I must make evolution out of them through roughly the same evolution method. Characters that aren't obviously found in the same franchise nor format, whose arc can be summarized as evolution. Are we good? Nickel! Parce que je vais pas me répéter. Allez, top à la machine!
Pourquoi? Pourquoi?
You should know that the matchup won't be the one you expect. Fakemon Battle isn't just a Death Battle copycat where I turn the most wanted crossover into Fakemons. Ah ça mal me connaître! It's the perfect opportunity to try out insane matchup and experiment with new evolution method and signature moves and abilities. And maybe show off my hyperfixation. Maybe. In other words, mais bordel, c'est le droit! Before we start this hectic mess, don't forget the song and dance or likes, subscribe and join my Discord to not miss anything from me. So come on down and take the hype train to the next Fakemon battle. We're gonna turn this duo into the Mack Daddy Soul Resonance of Fakemon creation. Mon Dieu, j'ai jamais entendu une intro aussi cringe. For starters, this is not my first attempt at turning Jake Long as a Pokemon, which made it far easier for me to revamp it into an even cooler Pokemon. Or rather, one that tries to look and act cool, a lot of fumbles more than anything. At the start of the series, Jake is this cool and hip Mack Daddy Dragon on the NYC, who prefers having fun skateboarding over protecting magical creatures, and gets scolded by his grandpa Fright on many occasions. That skateboarding hobby of his was perfect to spice up the design, along with the sunglass-like markings by the eyes, because otherwise it would be yet another bland mono-dragon type. And if you're wondering, yes, you can ride the funny dragon skateboard.
Draco, the breakdancing Pokemon. It loves to brag about its draconic power made combat. Only to be humbled by the Pokemon it should have knocked out beforehand. Skateboard have been known to host entire competition while Dracos, wanting to impress their mates, play stunning tricks and fury dance off.
A little story about my first attempt that I did a few days ago. See, there was the challenge of curious chaos from a server on making a Fakemon out of your favorite and most hated Pokemon types. In my case, my favorite is still Fire, but I was genuinely tired of the Dragon type due to how too many champions had one of their ace. And that's how this little guy came back to life. While the perfect baby, it didn't exactly look like Jake unless you knew the show prior. Now, let's stay a tad longer on American Dragon Jake Long and turn Rose into a Pokemon.
Mais, t'as pas d'insisté sur Maka?
T'inquiète, fais-moi confiance. C'est lié à cette jolie bobotte que j'ai là.
Oh, tape la base, ces analytics plongent à cause de ta logique foireuse, hein?
Bah, comme si j'en avais quelque chose à foutre. Moving on for this small detour, I didn't decide to draw Jake Long soulmate just to take liberties from my format. Beyond what I've cooked for the evolution method, one of the show's main arcs is dealing with the Hunt's clan, a group of humans all about exterminating all magic creatures. And in it, there's the Hunt's girl, the head honcho right hand, who's been Rose all along. Incroyable du cul, je ne l'ai pas vu venir! And throughout the show, we get to see Jake and Rose grow through a tense relationship over their duties to blooming love, culminating in Rose recovering her memories and help Jake fight the dragon and yeet him into another dimension by the show's finale. C'est-il pas beau l'amour?
Shinentress, the Shinobi Pokemon. This stealthy Pokemon prefers tranquil, flowery terrains where it can hone its martial art unseen. The gem on its arm can study the aura of the local environment, allowing it to project elemental attacks in its blow when needed.
Let me confess you something. Humanoid Pokemon have always been a bane to me. The closest thing to that were Folklore and a line of Fakemon based on Hina I had planned for Oxta due to being inspired by Les Demoiselles d'Avignon by Picasso. Would I have to deal with those? I gotta try to add non-human traits, otherwise it would like a tiny human than a proper Pokemon. Thank God! Putain, heureusement, Komodo and Ninjas were there to form Rose Braid, without taking the fur route and make a braid that would mix well with the rest. What do you think about these two so far? Let me know if I translated them well in the comments. And suggest me new matchup too. More proposition equals less chance I'll do Shrek and Shadow. We're finally tackling the other side of the scale with Maka-.albarn. For starters, we'll follow the manga continuity, mainly because the power-ups everyone gets are way cooler than the animes. My girl got to embrace her inner angel with the anti-demon wavelength to banish even the most tenacious enriched madness. A soul perception which can detect anybody she wants on the whole planet, and can even fly thanks to a Gregory soul. Meanwhile, the enemy turned her into a demon weapon, and whacked the Kishin on her horn. Cool, but you can't top the biblically accurate blow-up.
Mexafim, the Gregory Pokemon. It's nicknamed the Guardian Angel of the Dead due to its habit of nesting around graveyards and other places breaking with a gruesome history. Libraries gladly let these Pokemon borrow the darkest books because they know it will always return them on time without any scratches.
Before we keep going, I'd like to point out that I don't hate the anime. The soundtrack is still one of the greatest bangers you can come across, and the dub version is pretty solid. The sole reason the ending is okay-ish at best is that Studio Bones had to improvise one since the manga was far from done with the Baba Yaga arc. Since 2014, people are begging for brotherhood treatment, but that's something we may get once Fire Force is done. Once again, Autonomous Demon Weapon Maka isn't that bad, but bumping into Grim Sorrow campaign guide and decide that the Seraph would be the perfect path for her is way cooler. No, this is no surprise ad for a D&D campaign. I genuinely love the guide and I have the PDF with me. For all the stunning moves you can pull, Maka still would have done it without the help of soul events. Whether you think it's deep friendship or love, there's no denying this dapper guy with the shark teeth was there from her. Dude went for a lazy and gluttonous dumbass to, hands down, the coolest and solid character anyone could vouch for. Then again, Soul Eater is literally about a bunch of demon weapons and then master partners hunting down evil souls to hone their bonds through a wavelength. There's definitely a point to make about trust, friendship, and should I say, soulmates. Ouais, je me cache des fois le canard.
Fresh Shadow, the dapper shark Pokemon. This tiny Pokemon has a huge appetite and if left unchecked, will gobble up stray ghost Pokemon whose soul are these glassy pleasures. Playing music and attracting off to the shore, and will give you a little push if there's a spirit instrument.
Which makes it more puzzling that I turned it into a shark. Don't worry, I won't sing the curse song. Finding out about the common treasure shark was the perfect excuse to blend his weapon form and dapper black room outfit. Meanwhile, I had the same struggle about humanoid design for Maka, until I was struck by a realization mid-speed paint. I looked up Silk Moth, looked back and forth at the sketches, and said, Merde! It fits her like a glove. That's cool and all, but I can hear you ask what's the point in the bag. If you paid attention, you'll notice there's an overarching theme about love, soulmates, and all that romantic jazz. And despite that, there's almost no evolution method that requires a fusion. The closest thing to that is the bordel line, and even this is debatable. So, I decided to fix that now with this fancy box I have with me. Let me tell you the tale of the LOVEBOX. Conceived by the naughty Professor Mistletoe, this strange music box can play any note from every instrument known to man. It has the rare ability to fuse two Pokemon together with the right condition. Unlike the DNA splicer, this fusion is permanent and once done, cannot be undone. Faites attention les gens, c'est pas comme dans Infini Fusion. At first, it was used like an incense for its ability to bond two Pokemon through music. Until a trainer tried out on their Draco, because the little dragon instantly fell in love with his recently added Enchantress and figured he could have the perfect baby with the perfect Eevees. It was under the brightest zenith that Draco and Enchantress danced along the LOVEBOX rallying jam and fed into Storm's infinite energy, allowing it to evolve into a brand new Pokemon and slay a dragon that was rampaging Unova.
Kwang, the guardian dragon Pokemon. Reborn into the pinnacle of Draco and Enchantress, it soars to rescue weaker Pokemon and towards evil with power and style. It loves a good dance off and won't hesitate to resummon the dragon magic from the gem and flames to impress the crowd.
Do you see why I made 4 Pokemons now? The LOVEBOX doesn't only fuse 2 Pokemon whose bonds is unbreakable. It takes the best of both worlds and mixes it into the perfect blend. Instead of slaying the dragon, Enchantress fell in love with Draco and decided to teach their art to him until their training culminated in their fusion through the LOVEBOX. Even when fused, the soul of the other Pokemon still remains, imbuing it with its power as proof of their trust. A phenomenon dubbed by most professors as love resonance. Not too long after, another trainer heard of the LOVEBOX magic. Though unsure on how one got a sample of Springtap Soul to create it, why nobody stripped Professor Mistletoe of his license by now yet? One night under the shining crescent moon, the trainer spotted his Shadow play the LOVEBOX akin to a piano to the critter who kept stalking his team. A wild, maze-staff theme who not only sang a dark lullaby, but also danced together until the LOVEBOX mixed their energy and fused them into a brand new Pokemon.
Harkenden, the Deathside Pokemon. Rising back as the perfect fusion between Mainstaffim and Shadow, it looms over the wicked and reaps their evil souls to their side to feed on. It plays a psychedelic but somber lullaby in the darkest night to strengthen their bonds and exorcise madness away from anyone who hears it.
The love resonance phenomenon is just a fancy name. It's a unique ability only available to Pokemon who evolve to the LOVEBOX. By mixing the best of both worlds, it kept the fused previous first type, snatched the previous abilities, and turned it into 2-in-1 ability akin to Rider's Calyrex ability as one. Let's say Mainstaffim had Shadow Tag and Shadow had Moxie. When they evolve into Harkenden, their instance of love resonance will be the combination of Shadow Tag and Moxie. The same is applied to Draco and Enchantress once fused. And on top of that, they'll get new moves too! Ah oui, c'est la tradition du Fakemon Battle. It would be a bad move on my part to not create a move that encapsulate the love resonance.
Dicey, celle qui a fourré 4 persos dans sa boîte.
Mais est-ce que je t'ai sonné? Starting off with Kara or Kwang, you'll be gifted with Blue Sun Claws. A dragon-type multi-strike move that'll tear through the enemy, ending with an explosive jab. And with a fully free chances to inflict the baddest burn, you better have a good Pokemon to take that dragon slaying magic. As for our Condemn, you'll get Red Moon Hunt, a dark type cutting move ripping through the body, mind and soul, akin to being arrested by the Grim Reaper. Pray from the enemy Pokemon, for this move will inflict a severe fright. Reed getting Soul Adi jawed by looking straight into Arcanden's eyes right before the cut. I insist on the bad status you'll get if struck by either of these. Like there's Poison and Bite Poison, I added the same idea onto Burn because Dragon have that magical gusto that could definitely add side effects. Oh flinch, you have a complete glow up into a proper frightened status.
Oh no, mon
When
Dieu.
struck by it, the Pokemon will be afraid and thus have a chance to skip his turn.
T'es vraiment diabolique avec tes attaques signature.
Oh, ça va! T'aurais fait de même si tu gérais le format.
Ah, te plains pas, ces filles iront bientôt coller une pour le statut effrayé.
Et voilà! I hope you like the second row of Fakemon Battles roster. Remember that you can suggest characters' rules as long as they follow the rules I've mentioned at the beginning of my video. Don't wait for me to push Shrek and Shadow in the same video to do that. The more proposition you give me, the less likely I'll be picking the most mind-puzzling characters. Jokes aside, I hope you like this new row of Fakemon that pulled out. You can do the usual dance, like, subscribe, and join my Discord to never sight of what I do. Thank you for watching the second episode of Fakemon Battle. I'll see you next time. Ciao tout le monde! Définition de flamber selon le petit Robert. Verbe transitif qui veut dire brûler avec flamme et production de lumière. Exemple. Ruby a flambé comme Pyrrha lorsque Maka l'a tranché en deux avec Kishin Hunt.